And do you see the logic behind that as to why we know that it wasn't Earth rotation?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. So whether or not, anybody wants to accept that it was in fact a luminiferous ether, as I claim, and as other people claim, that's up to you. But the primary goal here is to prove that what it did pick up was not Earth rotation. And in fact, when they did this over 100 years ago in the Michelson-Gale experiment, they had to do another experiment called Airy's failure to try and determine what exactly it was that was spinning. Was it the Earth or was it the sky? And so what they did was they devised a very simple optical experiment called Airy's failure, in which they measured the rotation rate optically with the telescope, and then they filled it, full of water, and theoretically that would slow down the propagation of light through the telescope. And then the idea was that if they had to tilt the telescope further forward, then the light would not be coming in at the correct angle. However, if they didn't have to tilt the telescope forward, then the light was already coming in at the correct angle of 15 degrees per hour, indicating that it is in fact the stars that are rotating and not the Earth. Well, guess what? Airy's failure, same conclusion. It concluded that it was in fact the stars. So now not only do we have the FE Core's version of testing whether or not it was Earth rotation, but we also have Airy's failure from back in antiquity, and to this day you still have Airy's failure from back in antiquity, and to this day you still have people saying, well, we built these gigantic laser interferometers that are stationary and sitting in one place, and of course they are going to be picking up a rotation just like we did. But the problem is there's no way to falsify that if you cannot move that detector up and down on a z-axis to see if whatever it is that you're measuring is changing velocities at different altitudes or different z-axis, okay? So that is how we know unequivocally that what we were not measuring was Earth rotation. And of course, because the producers of Behind the Curve did not want that information to come out, they skewed it and made it look like, wow, dummy flat earthers, they proved it, with their own equipment, and then sit there and keep denying it. Well, they didn't include the rest of the story, and that's kind of the problem that we have with Behind the Curve. And that's all I have on that, unless you have any questions.
No, I'm just wondering why. I mean, it's just weird why they wouldn't include it.
I'm sorry, it's weird why they wouldn't what?
Include it, because like lots of people, I don't think you've told this to many people.
I have told this countless times. It doesn't get any press. And I told it to them, and I'll tell you why. And the producer even said it himself. They were all for giving Behind the Curve a fair representation until they went to the 2017 Flat Earth International Conference in Raleigh, North Carolina, okay? Then at some point, I don't know, either primary or junior high school kid got up, expressed his beliefs in flat Earth, and he said, Clark, whatever his name was, Mr. Clark, that did the documentary production, said that they decided, he and Caroline decided at that point in time that this was too serious and they had to stop it. And they decided at that point in time that they then had to change around the theme of the movie to make it more of an anti-flat Earth propagation piece. Now, they said this in their own words. Daniel Clark, by the way, is his name. He said it in his own words, and he said the same thing to us. It's like, okay, now this isn't funny anymore. You've got kids taking this in, thinking that it's serious, and so now we're going to turn this around on you, and that's why they didn't include it. That's exactly what they told me, and that's what they are actually in public saying, okay? So, in other words, this flat Earth idea, this paradigm is so powerful that it will change lives. It will change everything about this world, really, that you ever thought you knew about it, and it exposes a lot of things, to a lot of people that they simply are not ready to handle yet, and so that is why they decided not to do that, and that